Joining us now for more on this is pensions consultant Hilary Salt. I mean, Hilary, every now and then this question comes up, doesn't it? Whether they're going to stop the triple lock, whether it'll become a double one, a single one, whatever. What do you make of this latest intervention from Kemi Badenoch?
Well, it's clearly a developing news item in terms of what the Tories think. Perhaps I can be a bit more courageous and say that I think we do need to look at the triple lock. So just to remind everybody how we got here, the full glory of the current pension system introduced in 1978 had the earnings link, pensions linked to earnings. And then Mrs. Thatcher took away the earnings link, replaced it with the prices link in the early 1980s. And then the coalition government introduced the minimum of 2.5% of an increase. So you almost see a kind of political archaeology in the triple lock, but it really doesn't have any rational reasoning behind it. And personally, I think moving back to an earnings link would make there more consistency between the increases in the standards of living or not of the working age population and the pensioner population. So personally, I think an earnings link is much more sensible.
I mean, you speak a lot of sense, Hilary. In fact, you sound like a lot of these politicians before they got into the roles in which they're now serving. I mean, I've been looking at what the pensions minister, a man called Torsten Bell, said before he was an MP. When he was running a think tank, he was saying that the triple lock is unsustainable. He said it was not a sensible mechanism. He said he would scrap it. Now he's pensions minister, he wants to keep it. And on the other side of the political spectrum, Mel Stride, now the Shadow Chancellor, before he was in that position, when he was a committee chair, not part of any front bench, he was saying that the pension triple lock is unsustainable. But now, as Shadow Chancellor, he's committed to the triple lock. Time and time again with these politicians, they say sensible things like what you're saying now, Hilary, when they're not on the front bench. And as soon as they get promoted, suddenly it seems that they get a lot more protective of these systems to maintain them as they've always existed.
And I think that's a wider issue, isn't it, where many of our politicians these days don't seem willing to have a kind of grown-up, sensible conversation with the population. It's just a kind of a Twitter storm or a very politicised discussion, rather than saying that, actually, you know, we live in a democratic society and we need to have grown-up conversations sometimes. And those will mean that there will be winners and losers. I mean, the Torsten Bell one is quite interesting because for a long time, he's been very much one of these people who really pushes the idea of intergenerational conflict. And he has certainly, you know, argued that one of the reasons why you might look at pensions is to redistribute some of the wealth to the younger generation. But, you know, my view is that if you're going to do something like take away the state pension, we're not talking about the triple lock now, you're going to look at the state pension itself. The best way to ensure that the future generation doesn't get it is to take it away from today's current pensioners. Actually, there's a lot of intergenerational solidarity and similar interests in maintaining a good state pension, but making sure we do talk about how we pay for it.
OK, well, Hilary Salt, pensions consultant, thank you very much indeed.